everybody. What a time to be alive. What the is going on? Y'all, there is so much happening, like, so fast, back to back. It's almost as if we are really coming into the wholeness of what the fuck is time. But let's get into it. We are going to get into the new moon in Aquarius, reading for all signs. And this new moon is creating a stellium in the sky that is telling a story. And as I was like pre-shuffling the cards, y'all know that I like to honor the channelings and how they come through. And so I was getting a remix, right, on I'm still gonna get into the all 12 sides, excuse me, because my nose is going crazy right now. Ooh. All right. Expect channel messages to come on fleek for your own integration of this energy. And that's going to be so important. So excuse me, my goodness. I'm like, I was not like this just a moment ago. Spirit's like, oh, you're going to start talking now? Excuse me. It's so itchy. And like my forehead. Okay. All right. So I am going to get into all 12 signs. I'm going to share the houses briefly with y'all. I do want to share, though, in regards to honoring this process. Spirit, today is... Why I wrote down the time but not the date. Today's the 28th. Thank you. And January 28th, 2025. Yes, and this new moon is happening on January 29th. Okay. So this new moon in Aquarius is going to be conjunct. As of today, actually, on the 28th, we had the moon conjunct Mercury and Pluto. And then tomorrow on the 29th, we have Mercury and Pluto being conjunct in Aquarius, and then the new moon happening. We also have Venus ingressing into shadow. So I have, for those of you that follow me on Instagram, I have been posting about the Venus in shadow on the stories and on my page posts. And I also did Venus in Pisces, and I mentioned how Venus is going to be in shadow, and I spoke about that. So for those of you who are watching this, whether it's live or on the replay, I do invite you all to watch that Venus in Pisces video as well. But going into it, this new moon in Aquarius is going to be conjoined Mercury. Did I say Mars? I meant to say Mercury, y'all. If I said Mars, I apologize. Mercury and Pluto, both in the sign of Aquarius with the sun. So this is making it a stellium. A stellium is when there are 3 or more planets in the same sign, in the same house. And so for instance, you could have a house stellium, right? Maybe they're not all the same planets, but you have multiple planets in one house, right? And so that's a stellium. But in this case, they're in the same house, they're in the same planet, right? They're all in Aquarius. Now, Aquarius is traditionally ruled by Saturn, and then it's secondary is Uranus. So you're going to see a lot of revelations coming through in the areas that Saturn and Pisces has been working in the area of your chart, in whatever house system that is, not house system, in whatever house that is, right? So I do invite you to like look at your whole signs, right? Using the house system whole signs, and looking at your rising sign first, your sun sign second, and then your moon sign, as that is more internal and subjective. And this is going to be really important for y'all as we navigate these waters. This is the first new moon of 2025, and there's major fucking changes when it comes down to traditional ways of thinking and the world as we know it. Feeling fucking apocalypto and shit. You know, I was trying my best not to like cuss, but here we are. All right, it's happening. And so, whatever. You know, it's wild out there, and there is the invitation to be your fullest version of yourself, especially with Venus in her shadow. Venus in her shadow is like, are you gonna shame me for my wildness? Are you gonna shame me for my desires and indulgence and what I like, of what is my true love language? And the me is not Venus herself. The me is the love language within, right? And so I don't want to go too wild into Venus in shadow because this video isn't about that. That's why I invited y'all to go and look at Venus in Pisces and check out those posts on my page. But you know, it's important to bring that up because that wild side of her is going to be complemented with the whole Uranus energy. Uranus is about breaking through. It is about being innovative. It is about being different. It is about unorthodox type of energy, where Saturn is more traditional, Saturn is more structural, and Saturn is the one that puts the healthy boundaries. And so, you know, a shadow side of Venus can be domination, and domination being a shadow of Venus, people are going to be like, what, that doesn't even make sense. Absolutely. Think of Lilith energy and how Lilith completely was dominating who she is without the opinions of anybody else. She said, outcast me if you will, but I will be who I am, who I claim to be. And I'm going to dominate in the realms in which is for me. That which is for me will be for me, and I will dominate over that. I will not be held dominion over someone who chooses to make me a servant to them, where it's not allowing me to be the beneficiary of this experience, right? And so, you know, she's in a space of operating from perfect love and perfect trust, where Source, the Most High, created her to be a beneficiary in her true being, in her wholeness, right? Even if she was outcasted. And the reason why I'm bringing Lilith up is because Lilith is doing so much squares in the skies, with squaring up with Pluto, squaring up with Saturn, squaring up. She's like, I'm fucking doing. And so, even though Venus and Lilith are different energies, you know, one is a planet, one is considered an asteroid, but the embodiment of wholeness is where I'm talking about. These are archetypes and faculties in which we all can connect with these energies. We have an invitation to connect with these energies, but as well as connect with our true sovereignty and who we are. And this is where the new moon in Aquarius reminds you about your true authenticity, the authentication of you. Who are you? Despite Lilith, despite Saturn, despite Uranus, despite Mercury, who are you? These faculties are made up bodies, cosmic bodies, right? Celestial bodies, and an asteroid. What did I say? I don't even know what I said. What did I call her? Well, she's an asteroid, but she's also, so there's many different Liliths in the sky too. But Lilith is an asteroid. I don't know what I just said, y'all. I don't even remember. But hello, thank you. What did I say? I'm so curious now. Anyways, y'all are watching this live. So this is what channeling does, right? You just like, you let it flow through you. I don't even remember what the fuck I was saying, but going into it still, like, those faculties, those versions of energies, the connections, the access to those energies that you have, to that are a contribution, right? Like the ancestors are a contribution to your energetic signature. They make up energetic imprints in your being, but you are one of one, just like Lilith is Lilith, Venus is Venus, Saturn is Saturn. Guess what? You can be a planet too. What planet would you name yourself? What are you? Who are you, right? So I know this sounds like really fucking woohoo and wild and all over the place. And when the new moon is in Aquarius and that Uranus part of your Aquarius is activated, it is wild. It is like, let's fucking have alien sex. I am the fucking alien sex. And then because Saturn is the traditional ruler, Saturn is in Pisces, dismantling all the false illusions and shit. And like, yeah, you can, if you can dream it, you can live it as a reality and stuff like that. But how do you make that happen? And so while, Uranus is like, we are ET phone home, Saturn is like, you just might be neurodivergent. Like, let's put this here, right? But Uranus also, as much as it's about the collective consciousness in the big scheme of things, it's also categorizing things and putting it in this place. Oh, you are from this collective and you're from this collective, and so for example, we're going to get into all signs, and so you're from the Aries collective and you're from the Taurus collective and you're from the Gemini collective, right? And it's not criticizing any of them for being right or wrong, or it's saying, oh, these are your imprints. This is the energetic signature energy that you primarily vibrating on, or whatever the case may be. Venus is my first house. I need another reading soon. Hello! I've been learning so much. Oh. Isn't the soul just so grand and beautiful and divine? And I mean, the human, it learns so much. So those of you that's watching the replay and y'all been following me for some time, y'all know that I'm gonna get into it. Y'all know that it kind of gets a little bit chaotic here sometimes. We get in the chaos and in it, like, there's times it's just full-blown structure, right? And so y'all seen me in that. But I am in wholeness, right? And so I go through phases and waves, and this new moon in Aquarius is asking you to release the patterns while allowing yourself to create new patterns, and release the dead weights. And even though Venus may be in shadow and certain things are coming for a second chance and spinning the block, you have all the authority and energy to you. Excuse you. Oh my gosh, please don't have my nose itching this entire channel, because it's like ridiculous. I'm probably going to look like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, but shedding. And we are in the year of the snake, and that's going to be a common thing. But Saturn also shares about discipline, and with the new moon in Aquarius happening in conjunction with Mercury, there's gonna be massive downloads and information being communicated to you, to what are your disciplinaries, what actions do you take, how are you integrating your lights and your shadows, how are you working in conjunction with harmonizing your light and your dark into action of who you are and your soul's purpose to get it done, right? And Uranus is like giving the innovative ideas, right? Uranus is like, Saturn is going to because Saturn is in Pisces, like I said, Saturn is going to give those reminders to Aquarius in that, have that conversation. So there's a conversation with Saturn in this mix here. And Uranus, right? Uranus is in Taurus, and there's a whole collapsing happening with finances. And so Saturn is like, how are you doing your due diligence and creating alternate, your streams of income? Maybe are you budgeting? How are you budgeting? How are you creating, what is it that you're investing in, right? And Uranus is in retrograde also in the sign of Taurus as things are collapsing. And it's like, are these things, if they're not in alignment with your soul's purpose, then there may be a collapse in that area too. So are you allowing yourself to be disciplined to your soul's purpose? This is what Uranus and Saturn, and a lot of people aren't talking about this with this new moon, because they're just talking about, and we're going to get there, they're talking about the Pluto and Mercury conjunction with this new moon. And that's very fucking important. But that's why it's also important to bring up the conversation with Uranus and Saturn that is happening, because Mercury is in the mix. Mercury is unbiased. Mercury is the communicator. Mercury is going to reveal that communication, those tough conversations that y'all haven't been wanting to have. It's going to reveal the secrets and certain things in certain areas that's like, listen, this is the message that you need to hear for you to be in your alignment for your soul's purpose. And there's going to be changes in the laws. There's going to be changes. And that's, Pluto going with the power and stuff. So we'll get there, right? Uranus in retrograde in the sign of Taurus. Uranus being the secondary ruler of Aquarius. Uranus is like, hey weirdo, what's your niche? Let's show them what the fuck your niche is and how good and how bad are you fucking at it, right? And so it's saying pivot. Where's the areas that your soul wants you to pivot? Where is it uncomfortable at? What breakthroughs do you need in order for you to succeed? Because Saturn wants you to succeed, even if it's a hard ass. Uranus is like, I'm gonna succeed however the fuck I do it. It may or may not be according to the rules, right? Uranus is like, we the rule breakers, right? We here to shake the shit the fuck up. We here to rock the fucking boat. We here to fucking make rocket ships fucking go to fucking planets and back and come back like we fucking had alien sex, and we coming here with some new technology that has already been written, that Saturn knows about, the contracts that have been way made back in the day. You know what I'm saying? They just kind of bringing it to the forefront and revealing it onto thee, right? And it's so, where's your soul's remembrance of who you are? What is your soul's purpose? Because the game is playing out according to the plan. And so are you going according to your soul's plan, or are you stuck in some other conditioning and indoctrination that has these rules that you've been afraid to break out of because somebody put them in place for you? And guess what? Ooh, I'm pretty sure we're going to find some news out there, right? Whether it's just in the States or it's globally or whatever, there's going to be some news that's breaking all the rules, that's changing things up, and people's going to be like, ain't no way that could happen. That's against the rules. That's against, certain legalities, let's say that instead of law, but maybe law to, whatever. Sustain. How do you sustain yourself? How do you get into the space where you know that the rules that you are breaking is not against your soul? that you are following the rules of your soul's authenticity. This is what is authenticated to your energetic signature. That you are being disciplined in the integration of your light and your shadow to honor your wholeness and your soul's purpose without shame, without guilt. That you know if someone or if a person or a situation is spinning the block, you know if that is an opportunity for your soul's evolutions to go to the moon, or if that's a lesson that is time to put those healthy boundaries and cut it off. It's gonna look chaotic out there. That's why I'm in my chaos. It gets chaotic out there. But you're going to have to really know how to get in there. Y'all, this energy is so fucking juicy. Hello. Oh, 28 days only. Fruits and vegetables raw. Awesome for you. Congratulations. I'm so proud of you. You know, and even that, right? Like when it comes down to food, when it comes down to that, like, do what the fuck is right for you. Like, your body is going to tell you. Your body is going to tell you. I know right now, like, I have a ton of, like, greens and fruits in my fridge. Like, that my body's, like, I'm wanting the junk, but not too much. Like, I'm wanting just, like, and I meant to actually have water with me because I fucking need some water. Like, just water and electrolytes, like, all the lively foods. Give it to me. And like you mentioned, raw, like, keeping it raw. Oh, baby, I like it raw. Oh, baby, I like it raw. Like, so fucking raw. How raw are you in your being? How raw are you in your truth? When you're eating raw foods, you're keeping the electrolytes. See, I like cooked food too. And so technically, I'm a killer. I'm a murderer too. You know, sometimes I get so irate, I might kill a fly. It happens. It happens. I ain't a killer, but don't push me. Revenge is like the sweetest joy. Next to get it. Ooh, baby, I like it raw. Yeah, baby, I like it raw. Oh. You know how powerful you can be and who you are when you are in your rawness. They say that they're spreading this whole new thing of, oh, it's not love, that's the highest frequency. It's authenticity. You have to fucking love yourself through the fucking rawest parts of your being, all the way the fuck through to being your authenticity. That's the only way you can get to authenticity, is through love. Love is the answer. Love is the weapon. Love is the healer. Love is the winner, conqueror. This is where I was talking about Venus and dominance, right? And Lilith, thank you. Oh, source is so fucking good, right? And like, how raw you have to be in your confidence to say, I'm gonna fucking dance no matter who's looking at me. I'm gonna sing no matter what they think of my voice. I'm gonna dominate over my energy, that no other energy can change my shit. Regardless of what move they take, I will not filter who I am. So yeah, authenticity is one of the highest frequencies of love. Love is unconditional. Guys, girls, hello. Love is unconditional. Love is without conditions. Authenticity, guess what? Authenticity requires conditions. And that condition is to be raw, to be true to yourself. Love is in the lies. Love is in the demons. Love is in the shadows. Love is in everything. So love is the greatest frequency, but we're going to get there, right? So like, how deep is your love, right? And this new moon in Aquarius invites you to love the parts of you that you are letting go, that you had to let go. Let it go with love. Don't hold on to that. Detach, right? Aquarius energy is a cold energy, right? And love is passionate. And so, like, the reason this is all coming up all at the same time, like I said, Venus is literally going into shadow around the same time that this stellium is happening. So because this energy is in there, like they're all conversing. They're all telling their own stories, right? It's like you look at a house and every character, every person, every being that lives in that house has a different story going on in their own personal life. This is the story of the planets in the sky. And so Aquarius conjunct Pluto, going into the rawness of your power, calling back your power, detaching from the fucking storylines that they have fucking told you that you couldn't do this, feeling the fucking fears and doing the shit any the fuck way. It's scary, but it's scarier for me to be in the same position I was last year with no change. It's scarier for me to not see any growth or changes in my soul, and my growth, and my vision, and my provision, and my whatever it is in your dreams, whatever your reality. What are you looking to accomplish? That's what Saturn is communicating to Pluto through Aquarius and to the new moon, right? And the new moon is when the sun and the moon are conjunct in the same sign. So the sun is illuminating to the moon when the moon is in its dark phase. What is in those shadows? If you have not done any shadow work at this time, y'all, this is the invitation. All the planets been telling you guys this for the last few weeks any the fuck way. But this is really the time when a lot of people that are just online all the time talking, need to kind of shut the fuck up for just a little bit and learn to listen and go within, because there's a time and a place when to come on. See, I'm here, I come on, but you don't see me every day. Like, there's times when I'm like, okay, I'm out here and I'm giving it to you every single fucking day, right? And there's a time when it's like, nope. Introspection, go within. You got some energies to move through, some realizations, some discomfort pains, growing pains, like, what the fuck? Right? It can feel like fucking psychosis type shit, with Saturn in Pisces at time, giving this fucking grand fucking awakening, because the North Node is in Pisces, right? And technically the North Node can feel like malefic because it's taking you out of your comfort zone. See, the South Node is what you're used to. The South Node is the areas that you have been there, done that. You know the energies, you know the vibe. And the North Node is like coming to new spaces, the spaces that you don't know what you don't know. You only know what you know, so you're navigating through the waters with what you know while still being open to the transitions of what is there to learn. This is an invitation to learn thyself and master thyself on a deeper level. Ooh, Fadwa said she's an Aquarius Sun, Mercury, Uranus, Neptune, and South Node. Ooh, oh yeah, girl, you are definitely feeling this. But you're also a big part of this collective shift, right? And so the big part of it Fadwa is, who the fuck are you? Not according to what social media says, not according to what a playbook says, but like, how do you move? Who are you to your core? Right? Because they're gonna move the energies how they, who's they? Everyone that's participating in your game, in your reality, that's playing a role. Are they moving you so far outside of your energy that you don't know who you are? And if so, what a fucking time to be alive to discover who you are, to figure out who you are. There's a lot of like, quote, dark night of the souls happening on the collective right now. So the energies can be fucking intense. I know I woke up with a heavy heart. Y'all, I woke up with a heavy heart, and then I had this phone call and it was not the best news, and I was like, are you fucking shitting me? You are not. You're not even the right fucking shit to produce the fucking mycelium that I would like to fucking connect with on this network here. So I was upset for just a moment, and I shifted that. I became the mushroom, and I was like also becoming water and like cleansing this shit out. And I was like, absolutely not. Help me make sense of this, because I don't understand it. I comprehend what you are telling me, but I don't understand it. I do not understand it. And that can go over some people's heads, but I don't give a fuck. I know where I stand and who I am and the position in which I overstand in. But you have to understand yourself to know how to conjunct the new moon in Aquarius conjunct Pluto and call back your power. Be in your power. Understand what that looks like when adversity comes. Because this shit ain't for the weak. It ain't for the weak. It's okay to cry. I ain't telling y'all not to cry. I'll be a big crybaby sometimes. I'll do that shit. I will punch you. Listen, not you. I'm not threatening nobody. I'm just saying. If I had to, I'm a lover, not a fighter, but I am a self-defender. And if I had to self-defend myself with some tears in my eyes, I'm going to self-defend myself with some tears in my fucking eyes. All right? I'm really a baby, y'all. Don't nobody come for me, okay? You don't want no problems. I don't want no problems. All right. No, on the real though, like, when that news came, and then right after, because I shifted the energy, right, the adversity that was coming, and holding my ground and saying, no, I don't stand under that. Like, I don't understand that, right? I don't understand that. It's not making sense to me. I don't feel like the beneficiary of this experience here, right? I comprehend what you're saying, but something needs to change, because this ain't it. And the way that y'all accessing this, it ain't the right way. And so this conversation is to be continued at another time, in which the status changes and things change, and it comes into a position in which I can say, okay, I'm in agreement with this. I like this. And so even though it may appear as if I don't have a say in this experience, in that phone call, right? In that phone call, it may appear as if there's no other choice. I just have to take what they're giving me. The truth is, we are vibrational beings. And the vibration that we choose to ride on is the energetic exchange and the currency that we're going to see return to us. And so I said, no, I don't understand this. No, I don't agree with this, right? It may appear like there's no other solution as of in that moment. The truth is, by the time that phone call ended, there was okay, I need to find alternative solutions here, right? And I was gifted some flowers, some yellow and lilac roses. Okay, so it was yellow roses and some lilac color, like I'm not sure if they were carnations. They were so beautiful. I posted them on my stories. And I was just at the church, this lady at a church, and I was just so grateful. Like, I was about to cry. I was like, oh my gosh, she doesn't even know the phone call that just came through. But because I stood true to myself, I am an embodiment of love. Those that follow me, y'all know I say it all the time. I am an embodiment of love. I would rather us talk it out before it leading to a fight. Because like I said, I'm a lover, not a fighter. But I am a self-defender. And so if I have to defend myself, I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that to the fucking last fucking drop of fucking air and blood and breath. And even still, I might play around in the spirit realm for a little. I don't know if I want to keep myself earthbound, so I'm not going to say something that, but I might, and then I might get the fuck out. Who knows? But I'm just saying, like, you know, that's me. That's Venus in the shadow, right? That's her shadow side. But why would I shame myself? Why would I shame myself for saying I get fucking rageful too? I get sad too. Because I almost cried during that phone call. Oh, my heart was so heavy. And it was already waking up to a heavy heart type of day. But when I went back to myself, to the source of the core of who I am and ground zero, because I had to G-check myself in that conversation. Because it was moving me into this frequency. And I was like, I refuse to be in this frequency for the rest of the day. Absolutely fucking not. This is not how my day is gonna go. And as soon as I said that, it went from all clouds to the sun was peeking out. Just like Venus, right? The morning star just peeking out of the clouds. And I was like, I just started laughing. And I was like, okay, the day is changing. And then shortly after, I was gifted the flowers. Right. And then I had some stuff and I've been doing things around and I'm like, okay. Abundance is our birthright. Calling back your power is your right to your sovereignty, to your energetic signature. And it's okay to know that there's times that, you know what, we have given away our power to people, places, and situations and things that have not served us. But that doesn't mean we have to stay in the frequencies and the confines of those exchanges. That is the Uranus part. The Uranus part is the rule breaker. And Saturn is the one that sticks to the rules. So Saturn is like, okay, Uranus, you want to change the rules up. There's a thing called being able to renegotiate. So what are you renegotiating? What are your non-negotiables? Right? This new moon is asking you to journal, to put it in. What are your non-negotiables? What are you willing to renegotiate that you have been experiencing, that you have given your consent to or permission to, that perhaps you realize now, I may not have wanted to do that. Or I don't mind doing this, but I also want to receive XYZ from this. Right? So what what is your renegotiation? What are the rules you are willing to put into the game? What pieces are you moving? Right? That is the Uranus and Saturn conversation to Mercury when it comes down to our soul's contract. And because there, you know, Saturn being in Pisces, in the subconscious realms, in the chaos, in the spaces where the psyche is, right? So what your psyche is saying, and then Taurus is the throat also, right? Your throat chakra. What is it that you've been saying and communicating, also with Mercury being the communicator, but also being an earth sign and foundation and groundingness, and also a fixed energy as well, right? And Aquarius is a fixed star energy as well. Aquarius is also symbolic to the star card in the tarot, and which is about healing. It is about wishes being fulfilled, and it's also your highest channel. And so authenticity magnetically attracts that which is in your true heart's desire and your true love frequency, your love language in that space. And so in the shadows, you have to be mindful also that there's going to be energetic vampires, and that is what Uranus in retrograde in the sign of Taurus has been showing you. Who are the energy vampires? Where are they? Who's getting mad when you say no? Because they want to call you cold and dry. But are you really cold and dry, or are you just enforcing some healthy boundaries? Saturn is saying. Because the moment you got to tell somebody no and they don't like it, you see how they respond to you. And this is a season where you want to receive a lot of yeses. And in order for you to receive your yeses, you got to be in your true soul's purpose. That's your alignment. The alignment with everybody and everything just saying yes to you, because they're like, oh, I fuck with your energy. Yes, I want you part of my team. Yes, I rock with you. Yes. And you're going to be in the alignment with the people that you're saying yes to. And so pay attention. Where are your no's? Who's saying no? Are you saying no? They saying no? And what's in that vibration of no? That's okay. That could be spiritual protection, spiritual intervention even. For you know, maybe things got to move in a certain type of way. Right? And so, for example, with the situation with me, where that was energy where it's like, it's a yes, it's a half yes, and a not right now. It's not a no. It's a yes, this is happening, but not right now because XYZ has to be done. And so if you are in a situation where you find yourself having a yes, but there's a need for, making sure you're dotting your I's and crossing your T's, that's the invitation of the introspection, right? Of the shadow work. What else is in there? What else is in the subconscious mind that needs to be cleaned or integrated through your shadow work, right? And where could you love yourself a little bit deeper? Where could you love yourself in the spaces that is truly authentic to you? Right? What is your truth, right? So, there's a lot that I hope makes sense. There's gonna be massive revelations for change, for transformation, that death rebirth energy, right? There's a major invitation for you to look at how are you managing your money and your budget, and how you want to bring things into the space for you for the rest of the year. And also, again, this is, yes, you're putting the effort. The work and the time and the energy and effort that you need to put right now is not so much on the external as it is more internal. Okay? because Saturn requires you to put in the work so that you can receive the benefits of all that work, right? You reap what you sow, right? And as I will it, so it is, right? Perfect love, perfect trust type energy. And so that doesn't necessarily mean you have to drive yourself crazy in the spaces of overworking yourself in a war concept, right? In a way that you are dismantling dismantling the parts of you that you love into a space of scarcity and fear and survival. No. You're dismantling the fears. You're dismantling the scarcity. You're dismantling the survival so that you can thrive, so you can live, so you can be. That is the invitation to go deep within. Is as above, so below. And as deep and low as you go is as high as you go. And new moon and Aquarius, they going high. We going high from the depths of our fucking darkness with the conjunction of Pluto. Pluto's in the low. Let's in the nitty gritty. What parts of you that you have to allow for it to burn to ash, and how do you go into becoming a phoenix from that ash? Whoo! So as I was pre-shuffling, there was these 3 cards. I did not actually intend on having just cards pulled out without pulling them out live with y'all. But these 3 just like were screaming so loud, and I didn't read the book on it yet, and it just made so much sense, which is why so much Venus is still coming through. And we have, and I want to say it right because it was coming through. Chaska. And this is the star of Venus. Then we have Mamaquila, Mandala of the Moon. Mandala of the Moon. Godis, and I'm gonna, please let me say it correctly. All right, please forgive me if I don't say it correctly. So it's Goddess of Teotihuacan, and she guards the waters of life. And Aquarius is the water barriers, right? Balancing out the waters in the star card. You see this angel with 1 foot in the water, 1 foot on land, right? Grounded into the reality of the psyche while balancing the waters of reality. Yeah. And the stars and the skies and your soul's knowing. All right. So we're going to get into it. So let's see here. So I'm going to read this one first. So I'm going to read these to y'all. And then we're going to get into pulling some cards on live, y'all. So I know this is kind of a longer channel, those of y'all that's with me, I give it to y'all raw, and if it's a short channeling, it's a short channeling. If it's a long channeling, it's a long channeling. And if you have a short attention span, then that might have to be something for you to figure out if this is something that is truly calling to your soul. How much attention to your soul do you have? right? If this is something, I know when I do this, I say, Spirit of the Most High, most divine and benevolence and truth and righteous and perfect love and perfect trust, step my ego to the side and use me as a divine conduit, a messenger for the highest and greatest good of all involved. And that the souls that are meant to receive these messages are divinely guided into this space here and now, and divine intervention is acting on your behalf to get them here. And that is the will, and so it is. And then, oh my goodness, you guys get here. And how long do you choose to willingly stay here? The divine did its part in getting you here. You have free will to stay or to go. Perhaps you watch the replay later on. Perhaps you don't finish having time for that, and that's okay. Maybe you got the parts that you needed to get already. Perhaps there's some more, but you weren't giving yourself that deep, thorough attention and love that is trying to get your attention from your soul. So, of course, I'm not going to be the only catalyst to your reality with the messages for you. But I affirm that, baby, you hear the fucking calling and you wake up to listen to those messages wherever the fuck they're coming from for you. If the universe is conspiring in your favors, how are you listening? If you're guided to a messenger, if you're guided to some work, whether it's spiritual work or whatever, if you're guided to certain things, but again, you have to also be in the knowing of what is for you, right? Because, for example, there were certain messages that I was getting from an individual that means well for me. You know, they always want me to thrive and everything like that. And, they were sending me this like message back to back about a certain opportunity. And the opportunity is a great opportunity for the individual that opportunity serves its highest and greatest good for. And it would serve me temporarily as a great opportunity, but it will also become a distraction. It would also become something that is not so fulfilling to my soul, but fulfilling for the constructs of a fucking collapsing matrix any the fuck way. So, I had to kindly say thank you so much for this opportunity that you are presenting to me. I do see how much you care about me and how much you continue to bring this opportunity to the forefront over here to me. However, that's not in alignment with where it is. And even though I'm in a space of discomfort with certain things, that's because there's room for me to grow in this unknown area, in which that opportunity will be a great opportunity, but it's going to distract me from that growth and what it's going to look like on the other side if I truly allow myself to sit in this even deeper. So I'm in the thick of the uncomfortability of this change, right? In the space of, I trust and love my soul so deep that even in the spaces of the unknown, I am diving deeper into its teachings, so that I can continue to be of service and do what it is that I do, what I came here to fucking do. And you know what? Sometimes that irritates the shit out of other people's light frequencies or demons and shit, and they may feel like I'm this big bad wolf and that I'm there to blow their house down. And I'm like, come here, little piggy, maybe you should have fucking built it with a fucking bricks over there, because you're doing it from straw and you're doing it from hay. And guess what? I'm just fucking trying to tell you that if it fucking is a tornado outside, it's gonna fucking crumble. So let's just fucking breathe together to move this fucking energy to get you into the right home. Right? The big bad wolf. Huffing and puffing and blowing the house down. Is the house the tower in the sky? The tower card, perhaps? That needs to fucking collapse because it's not even fucking really like grounded on true foundation. If that's truly you, I wouldn't be able to shake you off of you. Can't nothing fuck with God's plan. Who's God to you? Who's God to you? Who's soul to you? Whose rules? Like fucking lightning. Or like I can't touch this. No. Can't touch this, right? Hammer time. Right? I love so deep, and love is so unconditional that it's in the space of saying, baby, it's okay to indulge in this sweetness right here, right now, for a moment. To comfort yourself in the spaces of discomfort. But I love you enough to also be that hard ass to say, you know, you need to fast a little bit because like you might have some like parasites up in there. You ain't thinking straight, right? Like, and be in the spaces of the in-between. Like Mercury is like, why does Mercury love Venus? Like Mercury and Venus get along because Mercury gets to be on any side of the fucking spectrum as a messenger, and it's like, hey, love is unconditional and I'm just the messenger of that love, right? Like, and then Saturn and Venus get along so well because they both care about longevity, the long term, right? The successes in that, right? The healthy boundaries necessary. And Saturn, and Venus and Pluto, that love of power, that love of ownership of who one is, and the pleasures in sex, and the spaces where it's like, ooh, it scares you for me to really be me. Well, then maybe you should be scared. But I'ma just keep being me. If it scares you, if I scare you, then that's triggering your insecurities. And baby, I'm just a reminder of love that you haven't seen deeper inside of you. That don't got nothing to do with me. That part of the it don't got nothing to do with me, that's the part that's cold, that's detached. That's the part that says Saturn is like, I'm gonna be in my independent part, right? And Pluto's in the space of I'm owning my power, my ability to be in my power, right? Neptune is the vision, the illusions and the fantasies, right? Of what Maya you want to get into. So with Pluto being that death and transformation too, and saying that it's okay to change at any given fucking time, right? Like, I'm coming here to say that shit is served its time. You know, that was probably the best version of me at that time. But it doesn't mean that that's the best version of me for this time, here and now, right? When things are changing. So I know how to adapt and transform and change in that space because that's who I am at my core. I know how to do that. Even if it's a tiny code switch. Even if it's just one fucking digit over. I'm realizing now that those of you who are watching live and possibly watching the replay are going to be like, what fucking channel? This is like so different than all the other tarot readers and astrologers right now, and it's the fucking message that you needed to fucking hear any the fuck way. That's what the fuck it is. Because, you know, authenticity is your truest gift of life, and Aquarius is like, we're breaking all the rules to be our true self. We are and if the rules work in our favor, then cool, we're the beneficiaries of those rules. We are thriving in that shit. We love it. Let me be in it. Let me dance, and let me successfully be able to pivot in the realms that I need to pivot, with this as a resource, or with this as an ally, right? With this as a support system in the collective consciousness of that, right? There's a strong telepathy in the air also, with the new moon and the sun, right? The new moon is the moon and the sun conjunct in Aquarius, conjunct Mercury. So again, y'all gonna want to journal your experience for today, tomorrow, and the next couple of days, right? Like, you're going to want to make sure you're journaling, because there's going to be so many changes on a collective scale that later on you're going to go back to this and you're going to be like, especially 6 months, right? It takes 6 months for the full moon in Aquarius, right? So you're going to look back and you're going to see what's closing out during that time, right? So when is the full moon in Aquarius, and looking that up and see what has started from here to then, and on a collective level. And where do you fit in the collective? And you don't need the planets or anything like that to tell you this, but this is through your own self-evaluation. This is through your own introspection as well. And are you going with the flow? Because some of you are meant to go with the flow of your soul's purpose in this way, and some of you are being pushed by your soul to pivot and make a huge fucking disruption and change to the world. But you might need to fucking feel the fear and do the fucking shit any the fuck way. Because if your soul is telling you so loudly that this change needs to be done, but you're waiting on somebody else to do the change, I think that somebody is you. And if you're just fucking crying about it, then fucking do it with your fucking tears, because that's what I do. I cry, and I do this shit with my fucking tears sometimes, and it's fucking exhausting sometimes, but it's fucking delicious. It's worth it. It's do your visions not scare y'all sometimes? I know that when I think about some things in life, it's scary, but it's not scary out of a space of like, oh no, I could never. It's more like oh, that's so fucking grand. And so it's like, it's so exciting and exhilarating, and like, within knowingness that it's possible, and that can be quite fucking scary. Like, it's so scary and yet exciting. It's one of those where we're being called to confront our fears. Like, there's things, whether it is but overwhelming, See, overwhelming, I look at overwhelming like overindulgence. It's over. It's not quite a scary thing. It's more like a doing too much, right? Doing too much, right? Scary isn't necessarily about doing too much. Sometimes it's because you could do too much or do too little and be overwhelmed, right? It's the tool. It's the abundance of, right? And I feel like fear is its own vibration in which scary can fall under fear. But scary could also be with excitement. And so it's not always it's feeling the fear and doing it anyways, right? But just because something is with fear, for example, envy or resentment could be from a space of fear, but it doesn't necessarily mean that a person is scared of something outside of themselves. They just scared of themselves. They're fearful of themselves because they haven't loved themselves deep enough into that. They don't think that they're scared, right? They don't think that it's from a space of fear, but it's from a space where they're not letting the love frequency fully in. The love is in there. The love is in the resentment. The love is in the anger. The love is in the envy. It's the admiration that turned into envy. It's the I love myself up. It's in the giving up of something, shaming it or whatever, that it's become resentful. Right? So I guess I needed to circle back into the channels for a moment. Let's read what this says here. All right. Star of Venus. Chaaska, Star of Venus, supports an inner shift to higher consciousness. Whether or not you consider yourself to be financially skillful, part of your sacred power and purpose includes the healing of economic and financial matters in your own life and in the world. You are meant to experience an abundance, creating and sharing prosperity from a place of inner spiritual security. A healing liberation from poverty consciousness allows the universe to work through you more easily without the obstruction of negative conditioning. In a reading, financial healing is indicated. Let go of fear and trust unconditionally that the universe is supporting you. What brings you a sense of joy, purpose, and passionate devotion? Focus on that. Believe in your ability to thrive by being and expressing your authentic self. Notice how you relax into flow and more easily attract what you need when you acknowledge that the universe wants you to flourish through being you. Focus on putting your beautiful beliefs out into the world, not in consuming the negativity out of fear of others. Give your spirits abundantly. Nothing is beyond the reach of divine assistance. Trust in this, and you can fulfill your purpose of being a positive influence in the world. Spiritual guidance. The Oracle of Chaaska is the Oracle of Venus, the morning and evening star. She heralds the transition into a new reality of higher consciousness and healed experience regarding money, financial power, and resources. This oracle guides you to give up false shame of not having enough or guilt for having too much. Your true worth is a matter of soul and has nothing to do with the material things. As you relax and acknowledge the love that the universe has for you, your material reality will unfold with grace and divine support. Place your sense of security not in the amount of money you have, but in the unconditional love and endless generosity that the universe wishes to share with you. Trust that the universe will provide you with all you need to fully live your life. When you are given something, accept it and consult your heart for how you might share that resource with wisdom. Give yourself permission to stop making financial matters an issue in your own mind. Give me one moment. Yeah, I knew that was her. I'm on live doing the readings. I'm going to call you when I'm done. I'm almost done. All right, bye. Y'all. All right. Trust that the universe knows what it's doing, and all matters can be resolved according to a loving higher Focus on giving of your gifts to the world Focus on giving of your gifts to the world as generously as you can, whilst opening up to receiving fully and fearlessly. As a sacred change maker, you are asked to broaden your definition of currency from pertaining only to money to include that which has meaning for you at a soul level. This may include integrity, authenticity, relationships, consciousness, and community. In your relationship with yourself and others, how might you express such a currency of soul? Seek and treasure that which cannot be qualified monetarily. Cultivate and share your experience of true wealth in the best and broadest sense. Some indigenous cultures define this wealth not as how much you can accumulate for personal gain, but by how much you are able to give in support of your community. This creation and honoring of soul currency does not mean that you are to be denied money or financial healing either. It is about placing that in correct context. It shifts fear of lack into trust in spirit. The recognition of soul currency helps unravel an obsession with money, freeing your mind and emotions to be reordered into a more relaxed and open attitude towards financial matters. This in turn makes it easier for you to receive the generous flow of abundance from the universe. Seeing wealth as more than money and refusing to make money an indication of success and the worth of a person is the antidote to the womb of separateness. That womb creates selfishness, ignorance, jealousy, and greed, stealing from community and depriving future generations their rightful inheritance. This is the conscious economics of bringing people together, not driving them apart. When it is wisely placed within a soulful hierarchy and definition of value, not above it or beyond it, money can be part of a more full and sacred relationship of exchange, not something that creates division. We feel happier, more connected and at peace, a spirit of hope, optimism, inspiration, and boldness of belief takes hold of our hearts, and we begin to feed the malnourished souls on this planet with good spiritual food. We no longer wait for the new world. We become it. 555 healing process. 5 is also connected to Venus. Healing process. Place one hand on your heart and say aloud, I give thanks for the abundance of grace available for all beings. I open my heart to let go of diminishing beliefs and interpretations of events. I no longer carry fear in my heart. My heart is filled with trust and peace. I give thanks for divine intervention, innovation, and blessings on behalf of all beings in all matters of economics. Great spirits of love, please guide, assist, and protect each one of us in all worldly matters. Stand facing to the west or your left if you prefer. So to your left. Hold out your left arm, palm facing upward, and say out loud, by the evening star, I now give over to the great beloved spirit all matters of concern, that they be held in your hand, resolved by grace. Your hand may feel heavy at first, but hold it softly there until it feels light. Stand facing to the east or to your right if you prefer, with your right hand out, palm facing upwards, and say out loud, by the morning star, the great divine beloved spirit now gives me with all that I need for divine fulfillment, for the overflowing of divine grace into this world, so that love will flourish through all beings. Feel your right hand as touched by the spirit light, the spiritual light of the morning star, and bless. Place your hands in prayer back to center. You have completed your healing process. Ooh. Yeah, that's a lot. Y'all want me to read these other two? I'm going to read it. I'm going to do it. So, Mama Quilla. 35. So, let's see here. We're going with the flow. And I have about an hour. Because I have to go somewhere. But I'm just going with the flow. And this is a long one. But I thank you all for being here with me in this time and space to receive the messages that's for the highest and greatest good of all involved, and to know that, you know, money is not the enemy. It's the consciousness that circulates this, and how you're using it. Is it with integrity? Are you allowing yourself to energetically exchange with love? You know, are you doing things with voluntarily giving of your time, energy, and attention in a way that is nourishment for your souls and all souls involved? Or are you only doing things? And this is not to say, like, I know there's certain people out there and they're like, I don't do no work for free. And I get that. But if you really look into their lives, they're doing a lot of stuff for free too, in some cases, right? It's more about having the integrity of like knowing where to place things. And I love that, because there's times like I said, I had went to a place, and I'm like, I get so much food at times that I go and I was giving food to the people in the office, my neighbors. I'm like calling them like, hey, do you want to pick some fruits up, some veggies, some bread, and sharing with the community how I can share, right? And it's just a sense of gratitude, the fact that like I could have been greedy and I could have kept it all, and I could have been like, oh no, I need to make sure that this lasts me for the month or whatever. But like, I'm like, yeah, there's enough for all of us. And like, I know that I'm gonna be okay, that the universe conspires in my favor, and that everything is always going to work out. So there's enough for me and you, and then some. And so it's like turning 2 fish into meals for thousands, if you will, right? So let's get into it. Mama Quilla, divine hearts and love, beloved, greetings. Mandala of the moon. So I think what I'm gonna do, we'll just see, because I was like, am I gonna read the whole thing? Because that's a lot of, let me see here. All right, let's get into it. Mandala of the moon. I, the lunar moon, the lunar mother, bring you my mandala of the moon to manifest through the law of magnetic attraction. My mandala is the sacred portal through which your dreams, intentions, and visions shall pass into the wholeness of being. From the realm of inspiration into the world of form on earth. There is no need for doubt or concern, for even the appearance of delay signifies that the divine feminine mystery is at work. With timing unfolding according to a higher loving wisdom, trust that what is falling away is meant to be, whilst you have faith in the new divine works being born. In a reading, this oracle brings a sign that creative works will reach fulfillment. Relax with trust and positive expectations that all your needs will be met. This makes it easier for abundance to flow and all earthly and spiritual matters to fall into place according to a great and higher loving intelligence. Things are changing even if you cannot see the physical evidence of this as of yet. Trust that your actions are leading you into a better way of life. Rely on the universe and you shall see how all things come together according to a timing and higher order that suits you in ways even better than you could have imagined by yourself. Spiritual guidance. When we are very focused on something that we want to have happen, we can become impatient and try to control the process. We may logically assume which steps should come next. And if that fails to fall into place we expected it would, we make further incorrect assumptions. Such as believing that if our plan has not worked out according to our current expectations, that somehow must mean that it won't work out at all. The lunar mother is telling your soul that she needs your intent, that she knows your intent. The Luna Mother is telling your soul that she knows your intent. She is saying that you are permitted by the divine to create what is that you want to bring into life upon the earth. But that there are cycles of creation that must be honored. She reminds you to trust in the sacred feminine wisdom expressed in the idea that it is darkest before the dawn. The wisdom is symbolically enacted in the natural world, whereby an ending and the uncertainty that can accompany it, the night, must fall before the new cycle of creation, the day, can begin. On a practical level, this guidance asks us to keep the faith, acting when we can act and resting when we can rest. It guides us to not lose heart, even during times where not much seems to be happening. New age cycles often expunges the wisdom of following the path of least resistance based on the Tao philosophy of ancient China. This wise teaching is often misinterpreted to mean that if things get difficult, one is on the wrong path. That would be most unhelpful creed to live. That would be a most unhelpful creed to live by, as it would cause you to turn away whenever things become challenging, rather than staying true to your path, no matter what may come. A more useful interpretation of that wisdom is to not resist the natural cycle of creation. This means accepting the symbol This means accepting the symbolic night during which we cannot act, we cannot see. We have to rest and be patient, having faith that the day will dawn at the right time. So we do not insist that things manifest immediately according to our personal opinion about how, why, when, and where. Instead, we believe that the universe honors our right to create and is working with us. Where we at? So we do not insist, honors our right to create and is working with us intelligently to bring life the yearnings of our hearts. The divine has a destiny intended for you. When you surrender, you are led into it. Your spiritual destiny has been crafted for you alone by the source that created you, who knows you with extraordinary and unconditionally loving intimacy and wishes for your complete fulfillment with a passion that is both tender and fierce. We do all that we can do, and yet we know that we don't have to attempt to direct the divine and its mysterious workings of love. Let the Divine Mother evoke peace and reassurance for your mind and heart as you realize that her divine promise is here for you now. All things come in time, and for all things, including your dreams, there is a season. Healing process. Say the following out loud. I honor the creative magnetism and loving power of attraction within me that calls into my life all good things for all good purpose. What is not meant for me, I release with trust, and what is intended for me, I embrace with joy. I have been given the free will to create what whatever I choose, with the understanding that spiritual responsibility for all my creations rests with me. I ask the unconditionally loving and merciful Divine Mother to guide me from the heart, that all my creations bring her pleasure and fulfill my soul. With gratitude, so be it. You can now express any heartfelt desires to the Divine Mother. Speak to her as a loving guide, mother, and friend, telling her of what it is your soul yearns for, and knowing that she hears you with love. What you are speaking is becoming a prayer, so don't be hesitant. What you are speaking is becoming a prayer, so don't be hesitant. Give yourself permission to be authentic and free with your expression. Gaze softly at the mandala depicted in the center of the oracle card. Gently note the circular outer form and the square configuration in the center. You are gaining healing from the Divine Mother as you do this. Let your gaze dwell upon the moon in her cycles and sacred feminine figure in the siren, in the serene and joyful acceptance. Rest. You have completed your healing process. Ooh, didn't I tell y'all that when I got that phone call, I just knew there was like this adversity to bring more heaviness to my heart. And my soul's knowing of like, no, my day doesn't have to keep going this way. And I'm going to affirm what it is that I want. And even though there's an appearance of this is all that I have to accept, I know that this is not all that I have to accept right now. And by the end of the phone call, it was like, it's just a matter of time. Like we're working on getting things changed. And the sun came out, right? And my heart got lighter, and then my heart got lighter, and then I received the flowers, the roses, right? That energetic exchange and that love frequency, knowing that sometimes there's other things in the background that needs to go on, that's going on in the chaos, that our physical eyes may not know why, but our spiritual knowing has comfort and trust in there, even though it's so uncomfortable for the ego. Excuse me. Y'all, I love y'all. I so love y'all. All right, we're going to go to 4. We're going to go to this next message. You see, because I'm like, okay, it's a lot of pages that we're reading. So what? It's okay. We're here. We're here. We're here to receive the messages. And release what is not serving us. Goddess of Teotihuacana. She guards the waters of life. The ancient guardian mother protects the waters of life and offers her protection and blessing. Her appearance augurs a time of purification and cleansing, leading to enhanced fertility. You are a creator of new consciousness, a generator of positive energy as fuel for constructive outcomes. We need your vitalized being to keep nourishing the human collective with helpful alternatives to mainstream consciousness. You will be protected and supported at the deep level of soul in order to become the creator and custodian of a clean reservoir of consciousness from which souls thirsty for purity, relief, and love can drink. The ancient mother will help you to keep her and the many creations within her care, and the many creatures within her care. She will help you to be fearlessly inventive with your loving creations of healing consciousness. In a reading, consider very seriously the need to cut cords to negative or unhelpful influences in your life, whether they be habits, people, or forms of entertainment and media that threaten to distort the pure and wise use of your wild spirit and ignited mind. Whilst it is important that you engage with others, the sacred creator within you requires time and space and solitude to process, reflect, contemplate, and create. Only then can you remember who you are and what is important to you and summon the inner power to act accordingly. In that way, you will not become overly swayed by any lesser force, particularly mainstream consciousness that perpetuates victimization, thought forms, patterns, and behaviors. Give yourself a chance for spiritual, psychological, and emotional time out and cleansing so that you can recognize the inner truth of your own soul and adhere to it faithfully. Spiritual guidance. Sacred Mother has come to you in honor of the important work you have to accomplish as a creator of consciousness, a free thinker, and a seeker of truth. What original healing stories will you give birth to in your life and this world? If you've become dried up and depleted, the Divine Mother brings you nourishment. Let the inner well of your soul be filled with her presence and grace through deep rest and contemplation. Give yourself space and time for renewal and allow any overload of mind or nervous system to discharge into earth. If you have lost the zest of your passion or have become confused or overwhelmed, scattered with too many ideas or directions, you are in need of spiritual cleansing, which her blessing brings to you. The waters of your own consciousness must be safeguarded so that they can become a tonic for the souls of others. When you highly value your uniqueness and originality, you become willing to bear the uncertainty that accompanies absence of the familiar. Rigorously contest any who attempt to exploit it, direct or distort the true expression of your higher knowing. In contemplation, impure material separates from the truth, and it is filtered out of the soul. The purity of your truth, such a seemingly subtle quality, has an astonishing power to affect change. As you take time to allow purity to emerge from deeply restful, reflective meditation, your personal energy and spiritual potency grow. Your potential to be an influence in this world increases accordingly. However, so too does the interest of less noble creatures in exploiting that delicious divine power for their own nefarious purpose. Avoid such tragedy by refusing to entertain any person or idea that drains, depletes, or diminishes the quality of your consciousness. Be resolute and enacting. If not right, courageously and unapologetically cast it out. In your uncompromising defense of your most strange and beautiful ideas, uplifting truth and fierce loving wisdom, you will come to know what it feels like to be as a new world in and of yourself. You will feel your being like a planet in devotional orbit around a divine sun. Instead of controlling yourself to fit into the frustrated and grasping world of others, you will offer those seeking something more beautiful the opportunity of finding refuge within your world. Instead of being influenced, you become the influencer. Instead of trying to dominate others, you awaken within them the desire for their own higher nature. You affect healing, transformation without force. This is the way of yin power, of the sacred water's wisdom that cleanses the impure and creates new life without diminishing its own life force. You have the opportunity to shift from stressful striving to more restful and abundant creation, sourced from the depths of your being in silence, observing communion with the divine. It takes discipline and commitment to learn this new way of being, to recognize the essential need for time and space and contemplation, to consciously create. It takes courage to refuse to bow down to the productivity pushers who are interested in authentic offerings that heal both through the process of their creation as well as in their final form. Instead, they just want more stuff to perpetuate conveyor belt consumerism for the genuine benefit of no one. Your refusals are sacred. They bring with them the thirst-quenching waters of grace, bestowing freedom, well-being, and soul-satisfying experiences of fulfillment. The healing process. Say out loud, Divine Mother, please help humankind to understand and implement the best ways to protect the natural resources of this planet. May we use the creative power of our consciousness with wild, loving reverence for life, generating wise action and purifying the waters of spiritual grace to restore all beings thirsty for truth. When you are ready, you may like to drink some clean, pure water with gratitude. Imagine as you do so a world where all beings have access to clean, pure water, where the oceans are clean and pure and the rivers are clean and pure. Let yourself feel joy and gratitude with such visualization. All reality begins with the consciousness. Let us use every opportunity we can to support the necessary shifts for life to thrive. You have completed your healing process. Hydration check. I know I definitely wanted some water. If you don't have water, let's take a moment here before I pull the final cards here. I definitely would love to go get some water because I've been wanting some water. And these channels are so deep. And I love how I did read these before. So I didn't know what any of them were going to say, but I love the fact that we were talking about becoming planets and being the planets, even though the planets are doing what the planets are doing, and the influences that they have, but the influence that we have in being ourselves through the authenticity of our being and wildness of it. And I invite those that are watching live to also watch the replay again to see if there's any notes that you want to take and sit with it. But I invite y'all to take a sip of water, and if y'all could just give me about 30 seconds to a minute, one moment, and I will finish doing your channel readings. Yeah, water is life, water is healing, water is cleansing. May this water nourish our minds, our body, our spirits, our auras to its highest and greatest potential. May it serve as a beacon of love for the wholeness of collective consciousness. May it bring clean water, clean, refreshing, pure water into all lives of existence for the highest and greatest good of all involved. Cheers, y'all. I love you. So good. Currently taking a shower listening to this. Oh, talk about water. Yes. All up in the water vibes. I love that. I love that for you. Okay, what time is it? I'm going to text her really quick. Let her know One moment, y'all. This is so good. Okay. All right, y'all. So, cheers. That was so good. Now I see, and this is why, like I said, I like to honor the process that Spirit has me go through when I do these readings for you, because I love getting into the astrology and I love getting into the science and the tarot and the messages for you. And truthfully, like I mentioned, for some of you, this is a deep time of really getting into the shadow work, getting into the integration. And some of y'all, it's really introspective, right? And I already got the message from Spirit to balance out quiet time, alone time, and time for y'all to put myself out there and be the messenger and do what I have to do. And I love that. And I always honor that. And that's why I said, like, there's times that you see me every day, and then there's times that you don't. And, it's just because you don't physically see me on live all the times doesn't mean that I'm not sitting with spirit and sitting with source and like, okay, what is this? What is the message? And what is this growth? And I know when, like, I don't even know, like, there's time, I know that I don't even know it all, but I know, right? In that space, like, there's so much that is, coming up for me to learn about my soul. And there's so much that I'm like, oh, I always knew I had that in my soul, and she's so juicy, and I fucking love her, and right. And just embracing that, and without shame, without guilt, right? Where spirit's like, yo, like, it's gotten to the point where I never really gave a fuck before. There was a time period that, I really was just, still didn't really give a fuck, but it was more considerate. And it's not that I'm less considerate now. That would be a lie if I say that. It's just more like being completely in the embodiment of love always just brings so much flavor. It's just so fucking good up in here, And even in the times when it's scary, even in the times where there's, like I mentioned, adversity or whatever, and I see those challenging or any vampiric energies, energy vampires, I mean, like, being in the space of like, hold up, and honoring that, and then asking myself too, okay, source, what is the lesson here? What was this about? Still being open to learn what the message is. Because there, like, I remember this girl. She was a friend of mine's, and she has like a succubi energy attached to her, or she had, let me say that, she had, and I remember calling it out. I remember seeing it, and this was like, I don't even know, maybe a little over a decade ago, or about a decade ago, but anyway, she was like, you're the only person that ever called it out, like, you seen it. And I was like, yeah, it's right there, like, and I didn't quite cast it out. I actually, I recognized it for what it was in the attachment, and she denied it the first day, but the next day is when she came out, and she was like, like, you were the only person that ever, I was in shock, like, I didn't know that you can see it, and XYZ, da-da-da. And she, I would see when it was hungry, I would see when it needed to feed, and we had this like conversation with each other, and it would feed in the space, in the conversations, and different things, and the energies, and I learned, it opened up to me, it shared so many things, and she was able to get into the space where she finally got to release it with love. But before she released it with love, she went into a space where because she wasn't, at one point she wasn't ready to release it. There was a lot of work there. And I get goosebumps and emotional kind of just talking about it. And, she was dealing with some very heavy addictions. She was dealing with a lot. And I remember going to AA meetings with her, and NA meetings. And with her. And it was a lot of heavy things. And she was doing the shadow work while dealing with her magic and connecting with this energy. And she got to a space where it was no longer her just feeding it, but them feeding each other. It was starting to work for her because she was working with it in a way that she was getting her power back slowly but surely, so that she wasn't fully consumed by it and it wasn't taking her away from herself, even though she was still navigating the realms of her deep dark night of the soul, in that space of remembrance, in the space of there's these attachments of addictions, right? And slowly but surely, she let it go with love, and she let go of the addictions, and she became sober, and she changed into this whole new being that, you know, she and I, we had a moment where we didn't speak, and even recently, like, we just energetically called on each other and you, and it's like, she needed to relearn me also, as I needed to relearn her, you know, because she was no longer with the attachments of those addictions and those energies, entities harvesting on her and feeding on her. And I remember, like, when I stopped giving it permission to even communicate with me, like, I was like, no, I'm gonna only speak with her, and putting down those foundations, and boom, and like, that's me. That's the wolf I was talking about blowing, right? It's certain force, not to the loving soul that needed the nourishments, but the entity and the being that was just trying to hijack the shit out of her soul and just feed on her the whole time. And it didn't come from a space of absence of love. There was a knowing of love and what it is and where it came from, but also the space of, we need to give you the love that you need properly, and the way that you are harnessing her and trying to hijack her energy is not in the ways that we can nurture you, in the ways that is going to nurture her. This is not how you do not get to win in that way. You do not. And so that was one of the contracts, and then they started working together. And then, you know, after time, she started, you know, claiming herself more, and you know, she gets to embrace the things that she loves, and hearing occasional, you know, she'll have like an occasional drink or an occasional smoke now. And it's nowhere near like her whole life has just like shifted. And it's so, I can't even say it was crazy. It's so beautiful. But it was a wild and fucking chaotic experience. And, you know, it's beautiful souls actually came into this earth on special during the spring equinox. No, not the spring equinox, when she came. The autumn equinox. And she has certain birthmarks. And just the soul that came through, once the vessel was clean, once the vessel was pure, she always wanted children, and she got pregnant, and she got married with and this man was with her during most of the time. Like, he wasn't there for the very, very beginning, but he was there during the hard time, because that's when you're getting ready to make those changes, that's hard. You're having to mourn your old self, give yourself a living funeral, while celebrate life at the same time that you're exploring a new version of yourself and what that might look like for you. So there's a lot that goes into deep shadow work. And, you know, it's not always how it looks on the internet. Like, you see me, guys. Y'all see me like this. And, I've had to go through some shit myself, to be able to be in the space, to be able to hold foundation for others' darkest fucking things to fucking come out, and that's why being in the space of love and containing that love, and it's not to say that I haven't had there. I remember a sister, like another one, just so hijacked in their space, and there's just some that, like, you have to be willing to do the work. If your soul has guided you to me, that is with purpose and certain rites of passage. And if you don't stay, that's okay too. There's parts of it that when the student is ready, the teacher appears. And when the student is truly ready, the teacher, the student goes from the teacher. And that's okay. But if you didn't even get to the part of really diving in, then go to where it's best for you. Because maybe that's not me. Maybe your ego is still in the way of your soul. And that's okay. For you in that moment, for your ego. But your soul knows what the fuck is doing and who is guiding you to. Do you? That's okay. And then there's times for some of you where your soul is like, you gotta do this alone. And you're gonna fucking know. Because it's gonna be nobody that is really calling for you to get into this work with. It's just not feeling right or whatever. And you're gonna know. You're just gonna know. And so, at some point, we all learn from some sort of collective consciousness, right? So, anyway, I guess that's where I needed to go. So, on the top of the deck, it says, nourish yourself. I have some water on here that I was trying to wipe down, and that's what I noticed here. So, it says, nourish yourself. And I love this, and I had a whole bunch of veggies come here, so I'm going to show you this here. Have you been using food to numb rather than nourish? Ooh! Be honest. If so, break that pattern today. Show yourselves that you care by choosing healthy, wholesome foods made with love. Eat your veggies, make a green juice, and toast to your longevity. Cheers. And then you have confidence underneath that. It takes courage to put your butt on the line and go for it. And the best way to strengthen your confidence is to put yourself out there. Who cares what other people think? Everybody starts somewhere. And don't worry about making mistakes. You can always course correct. You'll never know or grow unless you can try. And the more you do, the more confident and successful you'll become. When you shine, we are all inspired to do the same. Abundance, blessings. Listen to your body. No matter how bad we feel, our bodies are always working on our behalf to create health and vitality, if I can speak. Meet your body halfway by acting on the messages it sends you, whether it's a whisper or a roar. Don't ignore what you hear. Listen to your body. It wants the best for you. Okay, let's see here what finance card we get here, y'all. Oh, one flew out. All right, and it's 7:45. So these are double-sided. So it says, all right, so we're going to start with this side. I think this is the shadow side, if I'm not mistaken, and then this is the light side. They don't quite tell me. I'm still learning these cards. So here it says, the impulse to give puts you in touch with all right, the impulse to give puts you in touch with the best parts of yourself and the principle of abundance. Give not only when you feel rich, but also when you feel poor. Oh, I love that. So this might be the shadow side. Let's see. Be free to give of what you have and what you are creating. When you are able to give purely and from the heart, then you are nearly free. Ooh, I like this, because whichever side is the shadow side, they're both fucking juicy and talk about freedom. So I love that. The impulse to give puts you in touch with the best part of yourself and the principles of abundance. Give not only when you feel rich, but also when you feel poor. Be free to give of what you have and when you are creating what you are creating. When you are able to give purely and from the heart, then you are nearly free. I think this is the shadow side here. Money itself cannot make you financially free. Only you can make yourself financially free, and you can do it. And you can do it. And so much more. You have that power. Financial freedom is within your reach. I, Susie Orman, wish you abundance, joy, and true wealth of all kinds. She's the author of these cards. Let's see here, one more card. All right, generosity. True generosity has very little to do with what you have, but everything to do with who you are. Prosperity. We experience prosperity when our actions with respect to money are dharmic or righteous actions. That is, actions of generosity, of offering. Oh, I love that. I love that. All right, y'all. So to get this ball on the roll really quick, I'm going to share with y'all. That was the card pulling here. We're going to do only one closing card of the tarot. But Aries, this energy is happening in your 11th house. So you're going to see massive changes and transformations when it comes down to your friendships, when it comes down to your collective resources, when it comes down to your networking people, right? Maybe this is opportunities with your social networks, right? Whether it's social media or, this could be change of platforms. This could be, maybe resources and experiences that's bringing you to a new collective of people. Maybe you were traditionally working with a certain type of people and you're finding certain changes. Look, I'm an Aries. Yeah, you came just in time. In that, Matt, I invite you to watch the beginning of this too. It's a pretty long one, but it's fucking juicy and it's worth it. All right. And so you can look at any forms of news, revelations, communications, changes, endings, beginnings when it comes down to these friendships, when it comes down to these collective. And this activation, this new moon for all signs, what I meant to say too, is this new moon activation in the sign of Aquarius is truly pushing us, ushering us in to as an activator for the new age of Aquarius, right? So this is something that you don't want to take lightly. You really want to be in the true authenticity of this shift here. All right. Taurus, this energy is happening in your 10th house. There could be changes to your reputation, to your career, to, generational wealth, right? There could be certain, whether it's contracts that you're making or, certain shifts that you are navigating through, to shift in a way that is bringing you into a new direction with, maybe there was some gossip in the workplace or your career changes or you find yourself in a space where maybe you're seeing an increase of money in the areas that you work or something like that. Or you find yourself completely having this epiphany moment of I do not belong in this job, and like you go somewhere else, or there's just a massive fucking collective collapse that's happening in your field of career or something, and it's like getting you into deep contemplation of like, is this what the fuck is my soul's purpose, and am I meant to be in this field? Is there something that I need to adapt to? Is there gonna be maybe new technology that I have to learn and pivot into when it comes down to my career, right? There may be some technology shifts in your career or something like that, right? That it can be a little bit disturbing and frustrating to experience this in the workplace or something like that, but it's to bring something new and innovative in the area of your workspace and in the area of your long term of your reputation. All right, Gemini, this energy is happening in your 9th house. So you might find yourself experiencing, maybe this is like you were going to do some like far distance traveling or something like that. Maybe you experience some delays, but these are like divine intervention delays. Or maybe there's a movie, a matter of fact, and I think it's called The Rule Breakers or something like that. I'm pretty sure I saw the preview, but not the preview, it's based on a true story. It's inspired by a true story, and it's about these women, these groups of women from Afghanistan that they had to go through so much trials and trials and error to get to the United States to compete at a robot competition, so AI competition. And they went through a lot because the women there in the country, females weren't allowed to use computers, only the boys, and the females could only get to certain levels of education, and they didn't want to give them visas to get into the country, and all of this and all of that. It's a great movie. And that's kind of what I'm feeling for y'all. Gemini is like, y'all are there may be some presentations of so-called delays that y'all are pushing through to bring breakthroughs, to bring innovative ways into new spaces or countries, or even for your own country. Maybe you're not from the United States. Maybe you're from another country and you're watching this and you're like, I have this vision, I have this dream, and I want to travel here, and I'm going to travel here, and I want to bring this type of education back to my peers and my people. This is a major shift to the belief systems on a collective global scale, Gemini, that y'all are, and y'all ruler is Mercury, and Mercury is conjoined this new moon with Pluto. So there's a lot of major death and transformation and change in communications, and you're gonna be putting your foot down. You're going to be pushing away, Gemini, on a big scale, but it's gonna require you to really get into the knowing of your soul, where it's gonna shake up your own belief system, or it's gonna shake up the belief system of those around you. It's really I could see this energy really impacting you, Geminis, in a way that what you are bringing to the collective is going to be something that is grand and big to the collective of the world. All right, where it's something that's going to make news, is going to make changes. So I wouldn't be surprised that a Gemini is on the news and there's major worldly changes that's happening at a massive scale when it comes down to any type of belief system here. This could also be interracial marriage or something that has to do with that, right? Or breaking through the constructs of that, right? Of different races, or, and be like, there's only the human race, and then there's this, or whatever. It could be something with nationalities. It could be something with marriages here. This could be, maybe you decide to get married and this person has a different religious view from you, or it can go into so many different ways, because this is your belief systems, your philosophies, marriage, travel, distance, also learning higher knowledge, higher wisdom, high level conversations. Even, you may find yourself, this could be, maybe you're releasing a book. Even maybe some of you Gemini's been wanting to produce a book, and it's gonna be something that, like, maybe you have it in different languages even, or it's something that maybe it's going to be easy for others of other countries to understand as well, or something like that, right? Maybe you thought it wasn't going to be as grand, and it ends up being something that is big. All right, this is here to your Gemini. Y'all have a lot to rock the world with this energy. All right, so we're going to move forward to Cancer. Cancer. Ooh, emotional cancers. Let me take a sip of water. Cancer. This energy is more introspective. This is more internal for you. This is very much like you are going to be grieving some emotions. You are going to have to confront some inner fears when it comes down to your belief system of your worthiness, when it comes down to your belief system of magic, when it comes down to, did I say magic? I guess so, of money, right? Are you worthy? How worthy do you deem yourself? How do you see yourself? There's a lot that you may have subconsciously or even consciously trapped yourself in that is going to require you to take some time in isolation and really dig deep inside of that and do the shadow work to integrate with those demons. Remember how I just shared about the sister and her little succubi until she regained her power, where she's in her sexual energy, but she doesn't have the succubi energy harvesting off of her anymore, right? Is there an energy that's hijacking you and you don't even allow yourself to reclaim your power back? Because you're being called to call your power back. This energy is happening in your 8th house. The 8th house is other people's resources as well. So there could be something about codependency. This doesn't have to be a bad thing or a good thing. It is what it is. I did do a post about Venus and shadow, so you can check that out, because I put an example about codependency on there of it, like how ways of the world kind of require it as well. It's not necessarily a bad thing, but it becomes a bad thing when it's from a space of scarcity, when it's from a space of survival and fear, right? So this is your invitation to do the shadow work, to confront your fears, and to put to rest the parts of you that are holding you the fuck back from your true authentic self, right? To allow yourself to really thrive in the space where your shadows are one with you and you're not ashamed of yourself. You're not ashamed of yourself. You're not afraid of who you are. You're not giving a fuck about what anybody else says about you. You're just like, this is fucking me, whether you like it or not. And in the space where it's not about stubbornness and it's not about manipulation, but about reclaiming your power back in a way that is joyful and nourishing to your soul and the souls of others. And there's gonna be maybe some challenges and hardships that other people are gonna be a support system of you, and that's where the codependency is. But it may not be a bad thing. It may be that because the type of work that you need to do, maybe the universe is saying, yo, chill out, we got you. We're going to send you support to help you here, right? And again, there's a difference when it's operating from a space of pure knowing and trust in the divine and of the highest and greatest integrity, versus from a space of fear and manipulation and this and that, where you're manipulating others to serve your intentions and stuff like that, right? And so These are the waters that's moving and navigating through you to burn and purify the parts of you that need to be put to rest and turned into ash. For the lies that they are, as lie, the purest form of ash, to rise as a phoenix rising, right? Lie is a pure white ash. So all the lies you told yourself, all the insecurities, all the doubts, all the yuck, all the funk, the depression, the lack, the fear, the scarcity, burn it into the lights of purification for the lies that it is to turn into ash, the purest form of lie that it could be, into white ash, to allow you to rise like the phoenix from that experience, and like, I am not those anymore. I transformed. Those lies can no longer. And lie, you put lye in soap and it lathers you. It's cleansing. But if you don't put lye into with other ingredients to neutralize it, and you just throw lye on your skin, that shit is an acid burn. And when you lie into yourself in the ways that you're not really being true to yourself, you are like acid fucking burning yourself. It's eating at your skin. It's eating at your flesh. And it's not lathering your truth. Right? And so this energy for this new moon is an invitation to go within. All right. This could also be perhaps if you are a spiritual mentor, or you are guided to a spiritual mentor to do some shadow work energies. This could be that you have a program that's that's going to be, bringing transformation if you're a spiritual worker. Or it could even be that you're taking a moment to go integrate within yourself and stuff like that. So you got to know how to take this energy for you. What's your message for you here? All right. Leo, this energy is happening in your 7th house. This is resonating. I'm trying to heal codependency. I love you, sister. I love you. And again, I invite you to look at that post, because codependency can have it could be a toxic trait, right? It can when it's overly scarce. And then, so we're going to go Leo, this energy is happening in your 7th house. Oh my gosh. So this energy in the 7th house is bringing major changes to your lifelong contracts, to your relationships with people, especially spouses and marriage and relationships here. This is to really get you into the space and the relationships with the people that are true to your soul's calling. Right? This can be taking your relationships to the next level. In the 7th house, there could also be, also for cancers, that is also like generational, ancestral renovations. Maybe you're connecting with ancestors and whatnot. And then for Leos, with this energy here, this could also be maybe some sort of inheritance. The 8th house is also inheritance, Cancers. I know, like, yeah, some of y'all watching live. And so, inheritance as well. And so, have you inherited, family trauma or generational wealth, generational trauma or generational wealth. And I look at the 7th house with inheritance as well, because they are long-term contracts as well. And a lot of the times people kind of override that or skip through that. But I also look at this as like a business in a way too. So it is your love life. It is your relationships. Let me see here, because now I'm having a brain fart. Yeah. So, yeah, business and close friend. Yeah, that's what I thought. So I look at it with business as well, because a lot of the times you spend a lot of time at the workplace. So your relationship with yourself and with business and whatnot, right? What type of business relationships do you have and whatnot? Um, this could also be, if you're an entrepreneur, you coming into a space of creating more healthy habits. This could also be if you are in a relationship that maybe there's something in your marriage, whether it's you helping your spouse or your spouse helping you in other ways, right? So just like I was saying with Cancer, it's like codependency isn't always a bad thing. Sometimes, in a marriage, you codepend with your partner, right? It's not in a way that is neglecting yourself. Like it's in a way that it's like, okay, if my partner needs me, I'm there. If I need my partner, they're there, right? In that type of thing, through sickness and health and all of that, right? So honoring the vows of the relationship, of the harmonics of it, right? And this is really taking your commitment to the next level, to a higher level. It's really bringing you to a space where if there was anything egotistical or stubborn or something like that, to put it to rest, put it in a way, in the space where you're gonna be mourning parts of yourself, but you're gonna be celebrating so much of this new version of your. You might have to get to know your partner all over again. You might have to get to know yourself all over again. This can create certain changes and fears in spaces, right? Like if your partner's changing and you're like, you're not even the person I married. You're not the person does that mean that y'all go through a divorce, or does that mean that y'all work through it, right? So everyone is going to be different. For some of you Leos, this is a divorce. For some of you Leos, this is a getting to go deeper with your partner and loving the new version of them and loving the new version of you, and evolving your relationship into this next level of evolution for your soul's growth. Right? So take it how it resonates for you. All right. Virgo, this energy is happening in your sixth house. So there's gonna be major changes when it comes down to your daily habits, your daily routines, your lifestyle, when it comes down to your health here. You might be really invited at this time to eat a lot of nourishing foods, and maybe doing certain detoxes, and doing a lot of like healing work. I feel like this energy is more introspective as well for you, Virgo. At this time, like, you're gonna be feeling the need to like really go within more and tap into your healing abilities, because the sixth house is also healing energies. This is the shamans, this is the healers, this is the nurses, this is the doctors. This is, it's in that space. And there's a lot that you're going to be sensing on a collective level. Maybe you're waking up feeling the tension and the anxiety and the heaviness of the collective, and you're wanting to take time to breathe through this, to neutralize this energy and transform it, give it into give it to source to be transformed into a version of love that is going to serve and honor the highest and greatest good of all involved. And you allow yourself to do the breath work. You allow yourself to do the cord cutting. You allow yourself to take time to connect to nature, to ground your feet, to be naked, to sunbathe, to ground, to whatever it is necessary that you need to do on a day-to-day basis, to meditate, to get into the space of your health. All right, y'all. Sorry about that. All right, so we are moving on to Libra. Libra, this energy is happening in your fifth house. The fifth house, this energy is about your relationships. So this is not like marriage or long-term relationships, but these are close relationships as well. These are new relationships even. These are short-term relationships as well. This is your relationship with your network, with your peers. This is your relationship with your friends. This is also children, right? And so you could be having, maybe you come into a space where your body is changing because you're having a child, and you're, simultaneously celebrating the new life that's growing in your belly while mourning your old body or something like that, right? And so there's an extra TLC that needs to happen for yourself to really allow yourself to be with joy, be with peace, and be compassionate for the change that's happening to you. Maybe some of you, trigger warning, right? Maybe you had an abortion or a miscarriage or stillborn, or you lost a child, and you're going through a grievance process at this time, and you're going through major changes and shifts, and your life just doesn't feel the same anymore, and you're learning to create a new life with their transition with them that transitioned onto the other realm, and you're just trying to figure out how to live for yourself and move on for yourself while still honoring their life, right? And so this can happen in so many different ways, because remember, we do have Pluto conjunct this new moon, and so there is a death transformation in this. For some of you Libras, again, Libra rising or sun moon, this could be maybe you end a relationship and you get into a new relationship, or you've been single and now you're getting into a relationship, or you was in a relationship and y'all go from a relationship to a marriage, and so it's a different level. It's an ending and a beginning, right? There's major changes when it comes down to your relationships here. And also this has a lot to do with being seen, and your artistry, your creativity, right? So it's not, maybe you're not creating a baby, but you're creating a new program. You're creating something to share with the collective, right? Maybe you're creating a workshop, or you're creating a book, or you're putting something out there, and you're nurturing it. And this is something that you're taking change to, or you could be putting yourself to be seen in a new light, right? Maybe you're releasing some new videos, right? Maybe you're a social media influencer and you're putting yourself out there, or maybe you you are a musician and you're releasing a new song or something along those lines, right? Just creating something new and putting it out there. All right, Scorpio, this energy is happening in your fourth house. So with this is, you could be changing locations. You could be having, maybe a gathering in your home during this time or something like that. Maybe there's some sort of change and transformation that's happening with a parent here. There could be some changes in that area. This is also real estate, or certain investments that you put your time, energy, and attention into, and there could be some changes and transformations in that area. Maybe you're looking to invest in multiple investments, or maybe you're putting certain things into a space where you are this could be digital real estate even. This could be physical real estate. Maybe you have multiple homes. Maybe you're renting out a home. Maybe you're moving in with a partner. Maybe you getting a roommate. This can happen in so many different ways, these changes, the ways that it is here. But there's things about even being more introspective. You may feel like I'm saying gatherings at home, but you know, this is also an introspective energy for you as well, Scorpio. So you may feel more introverted, like you want to stay at home rather than go out to events during this time and stuff like that, right? Maybe people invite you out and you decide like, you know, I don't really want to go out at this time. I'd rather stay in, right? And stay in to do the shadow work, to get into your creativity, to see what it is that you want in your foundation here. Maybe you're a parent yourself and you're staying in to be with your children, to be a better parent, to be a different parent than maybe your parent was, or something like that, or to teach them certain things. It varies, but it's in a way that it's very life-changing, okay? So, Sagittarius, this energy is happening in your third house, all right? This energy is also going to impact you massively. So there's going to be major changes and transformations when it comes down to your communication. You're going to get a lot of downloads, a lot of information coming to you at this time. You're probably going to be talking a lot, or you're not going to want to talk at all. There's going to be major changes when it comes down to your neighborhood, to the children around you. Maybe you're learning something new. Maybe you're a teacher, you're going to be teaching somebody. You're going to be learning and teaching at the same time. You're going to be learning and teaching at the same fucking time. There's going to be some news that's being revealed to you from different areas. This could also be a sibling that's involved here. Maybe you having to help a sibling, or there's some news or information that's connected to a sibling. Maybe you find yourself doing a little bit more local traveling, or maybe you find that there's certain delays in travels that you were needing to do locally, and you're like, you know, like, damn, I really had to do XYZ. And it's not that you can't do XYZ. It may require you to do XYZ later, at a later time, or in a different route, right? Maybe there's an alternative route or a detour, but it doesn't mean that there's a roadblock. It's just for you to know that there's a depth transformation and something communicating to you from your internal realms that is a divine intervention and divine protection that's happening here, and it's showing you this is the areas. You know, this is what's going on here. So I would definitely keep an eye out for those types of things, right? If you're finding yourself having to travel a little bit more, and there's certain roadblocks, take your time. Take your time, especially with Pluto and Mercury conjunct the new moon and the sun. You know, anything can happen on the road at any given time. And, you know, you want to be in the space where, you know what, I'm taking my time. I'm doing things how I need to do it at my pace. It's not a race. All right. And so we're going to move forward to Capricorn. Capricorn, this energy is happening in your second house. This is going to be a lot of reevaluations of your values, of your finances here. This could be money opportunities, or even certain delays possibly, right? And if there's delays, this is about really doing the introspective work into what energies is it that you are magnetically attracting and calling into. What is your belief system when it comes down to money? Because the second house is about money. Maybe there's other work that you're doing for other streams of income. Maybe you're changing careers, and this is going to change your money flow, right? Maybe there's certain things about the work that you put in is paying you back. And in that, putting the efforts into putting the effort and the energy into that which you want to make work, and the energetic currency that's going to be reciprocated back to you at this time with that, right? And so this is also your values. Maybe you're having a change of values. Maybe something you once valued before you no longer value, or maybe something that you once did for work is no longer working out for you anymore. And so you're changing your ways when it comes down to that or whatnot. This can change for everybody But what I really do feel is more on a pop, because Pluto is no longer in your sign. It's in Aquarius. Aquarius is still Saturn ruled. This energy is going to impact you as well, and I feel like this is going to be a massive breakthrough when it comes down to your finances, especially if you're really asking yourself, what if I had X amount of dollars, what would I invest this money into? What are your investments? What are your long-term goals? What are, in those areas when it comes down to your finances, right? What would you do with certain amount of money? And do you feel worthy and deserving of that money? Do you value yourself in the position that you're in now to say that I would even value myself in that position as well, right? It's things about allowing yourself to be in the luxury. And maybe the second house is also food and diet. So there could be changes not only in your values of your heart, of your love, of your beliefs, like the value, the way that you value food, even, right? Maybe your food habits are changing at this time, and you're wanting to nourish your body, right? Because this could also be changes to your body that occur during this time, because the things that you value are changing, and the food that you were once committed to eating, right? Like there was something, I know, like I've gone through phases of like emotionally eating, right? And because of that, like they're like going into the space where like you're not numbing yourself with the food and stuff like that, but you're honoring, maybe you're going through a fasting period because you honor your soul, and you're like, I value my soul's connection and my body. I value what my body is telling me right now. My body's telling me to fast, or I value what my body is saying, and it's saying for me to drink more water, or I value what my body is saying to me right now, is telling me, that I need to eat more greens, or it's saying that it's okay to indulge in this cake for a moment because I'm so strict in every other area, and I can lighten the load just a little bit, right? It's gonna be, what is your values? How is it paying you back? That type of energy, and not being so hard on yourself in a way where you're criticizing yourself or judging yourself, but being excited to receive your desires, to receive that which you value, to honor your values, and allow yourself to receive the reciprocation back for the work that you put in. So are you putting in? Are you overworking? Are you overwhelmed, and you're not allowing yourself to receive the financial reciprocation back because you're constantly like a martyr? Remember the water card, I believe it was the water card here. Oh, this deck here. Or the moon card. You're going to have to go back. I believe it was Mama Quilla, the moon card, that she was saying about the reciprocation and the balance and the integrity, right? Like when you value yourself as worthy, and you have the integrity, and you're doing things with integrity, honor yourself and value yourself to receive the proper reciprocation for the time and energy and efforts that you're putting out, and know that you are worthy of every dollar of whatever offerings it is that you have and whatnot like that. So these are ways that it could move for you. Okay, Capricorn, so take that in the areas where it resonates for you. So Aquarius, this energy is happening in your first house. And those of you that's watching live or watching the replay, and y'all here, like, everybody should be listening to Aquarius, because this energy is happening in the sign of Aquarius, right? And I even invite everybody to even listen to the Capricorn part, because Capricorn is it's also ruled by Saturn, right? But this is primarily, for sure, Aquarius. So Aquarius energy, this happening in your first house. We spoke about listening to the body, right? Major importance. This is also, some of y'all are probably going to be feeling like y'all having an identity crisis. Like, what the fuck? Who am I? Where, like, I don't know myself, and awakenings, and it's okay. This is how to allow me to reintroduce myself, right? This is reintroductions. This is getting to know yourself. This is listening to your body. This is a lot of introspective. So you're going to be doing a lot of internal work at this time too. Your body's going to want to change. Maybe you're feeling motivated to work out a little bit more. Maybe you're feeling pushed to like get a piercing or get a tattoo or something like that, like major changes at this time when it comes down to the body, right? When it comes down to your identity, when it comes down to the I am presence of your life here, to get into that authenticity, right? So I love this energy here for y'all. Y'all are really going through a death, rebirth, shedding of the old into the new energies here with yourself. So take your time, be gentle with yourself here. This is, really also with Pluto being conjunct to this, I would honestly say, Aquarius, be very careful with some of the things that y'all do. Because, especially if it's in the rising sign, whenever Pluto is conjunct your rising, this could be a near-death experience. And I'm trigger warning, I'm not trying to fearmonger or cause anybody to get scared, but it just is what it is. Whenever you see, Pluto or Scorpio in the first house, these can be near-death experience or very traumatic experiences to the body. Sometimes it's a surgery, which is traumatic, or this could be some sort of major impact to the body here. And so I do have to let y'all know that is a potential for this energy here. Again, this is not to cause any fear or anything like that, but this is just to let you know that if you are experiencing a major change in your body at this time, know that you can overcome this, especially if it was like a near-death experience. This could be this near-death experience was happening so that you can get your aha epiphany moment to connect with source, to really get into your healing and into your soul's purpose integrated into your body. If that's not the case, it's a more metaphysical aspect of death and transformation, a near-death outer body experience, maybe through astral projection or something like that. Some healing in that way. This could be maybe, whether it's hospital or it's etheric, some sort of like healing and changes and transformation. This could also go deep into some shadow work, to do some deep, thorough shadow work integration at this time that is going to transform your body to like, people are going to probably be like, oh my gosh, you lost so much weight. You look so much more, you're feeling more, you're looking more attractive. You're looking better. And it's like, it's energetic weight lifting off of your body, right? So that's another way that it can show up. And last but not least, Pisces, this energy is happening in your 12th house. Pay attention to your dreams. Get the rest that you feel like you need to rest. If you need to sleep, get rest. Allow yourself to really, if you don't feel like talking to nobody, don't talk to nobody. If you feel like you are wanting to do a hypnosis or healing, this is also hospital. So again, I would also tell you, if you're feeling, if you're feeling a little bit of ascension symptoms and you're feeling a little bit sick or whatever, maybe looking into some like natural remedies and getting into your healing. This is for you to tap into your healing abilities. This is for you to call back your power in the dream state. This could be lucid dreaming, astral projections, any type of psychic abilities could be amplified at this time for you to utilize your spiritual abilities for spiritual purposes at this time, right? Spiritual contracts, even. This could be hypnosis. This could be I really feel like it's gonna be an ending or some revelation if there's any addictions or something like that. I really do feel like this new moon with Pluto and Mercury is gonna come up to the space of revealing where there may be any subconscious self-sabotaging tendencies and addictions that shows up. It's also hidden enemies, so there could be some revelations or news that comes up to maybe the hidden enemy within or a hidden enemy around, that type of news. So y'all know where this energy is gonna manifest in your life by y'all just being in your now moment, paying attention, being the observer while experiencing and living life. I want to say thank you to each and every one of you who stood here from beginning to end, and those of you who are watching the replay. Thank you for allowing me to be a divine catalyst, a soul that recognizes your soul and that we are one, and that these messages serve you for your highest and greatest good, and that any messages that came through that is not honoring your highest and greatest good, that divine intervention works in our behalf to remove it out of your mind, body, and soul, so that it is moved into the areas in which does serve the highest and greatest good of all collective energies. I love you. I thank you for existing so that I can be the catalyst that I am to be of service to you. Ashe, Aho, Amen. May the highest will for all continue to be in rotation for all involved to expand and grow into y'all greatest versions of yourselves. I love y'all. Peace, y'all.